Hi, folks. Nathan P. Woodard here with another update from the front lines with Snyder Battalion. It's been a very discouraging couple of days. We suffered a major setback in our mission to bring the Snyder Cut to war-torn Eastern Europe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe militant group known as Mustedali Popica, they painted a cartoon tunnel on the side of the AMC Cineplex here, which caused several tanks to drive right into the side of the building. They destroyed a lot of the good seats, and they compromised the integrity of the Dolby Atmos surround sound system. To make matters worse, their air support has been dropping vouchers for 3 free months of Disney Plus into heavily populated civilian areas. I have been in the streets desperately trying to explain to the locals that the Michael Jackson episode of The Simpsons, Stark Raving Dad, isn't available on Disney's streaming service, but unfortunately, for many of these people, they are desperate for any form of entertainment, and it appears that that is a compromise they are willing to make. I'm going to keep my head up and look forward to what tomorrow holds. I appreciate all of your support as I am doing this brave thing. In the meantime, we will be releasing an episode from Behind the Vault for you. Today, a little change of pace. We're releasing one of our more serious episodes from Behind the Paywall. This is from about a year ago, where AJ and I sat down and came up with the theory that would later become known as the Woodard-Estes Streets and Sheets Assessment Model. This is the only personality type test that will tell you what kind of person you are in the boardroom, but also in the bedroom. So, enjoy.
Didn't think of a theme song for this. What should we do for a theme song for this?
Oh. Something about... Give me a second here. I don't know. I could do some Googling. The first thing that popped into my head was... I Can't Dance.
I Can't Dance. The Phil Collins song?
Yeah.
What does that have to do?
Nothing really. I'm trying to... in the streets, I guess the only thing about him is the way he walks. It sounds like...
All right, let's just go with it.
No, let's pick something
We're rolling
different.
it. We're rolling it.
Okay, whatever.
Hello and welcome to Streets and Sheets, a podcast with the theme song I Can't Dance.
Yeah.
This is an interesting idea for a podcast in the sense that you're not just learning, you're listening in as we learn and as we develop our own new unified theory in the same vein as not only, I would say, the Myers-Briggs or an Enneagram, but also good old-fashioned hokum like, astrology or eating for your blood type. We are developing a new system by which one can identify themselves and their personality, but specifically the two different aspects of their personality, what they are in the streets and then what they are in the sheets.
And in a broader sense, understanding oneself can lead to understanding the people that inhabit your world. We're
this is
some sort of idea of how to identify and develop long-lasting relationships with every personality type.
So this can be used in the same way that you might say about, oh, well, I'm a Gemini, so I only date other Geminis, or I'm Jewish, so I only date other Jews. This could be a way for you to figure out who you date.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Geminis date other Geminis, though.
They shouldn't.
No.
That's 4 people in that relationship.
I'm a Gemini, so I have sex with my twin. Me and my twin brother have sex with each other. It's, Gemini thing.
Yeah. My favorite roller coaster for a long time was the Gemini at Cedar Point. It's one of those ones where the roller coasters go side by side, but it goes so close that you can give high fives to the people in the other roller coaster
as it passes in the other direction.
And I guess in theory, one could have a very quick coitus if one slipped.
If your brother was in the other one,
yeah.
and you could somehow wiggle out of the restraints. And Lord knows you've been practicing wiggling out of those restraints at home with your twin brother.
Mm-hmm.
You got a ball gag. I'd like to see a roller coaster with a ball gag.
Would everybody have to wear them, or just if you sat in the front row?
Every seat, yeah.
Oh, it like lowers down via hydraulics and then like forcefully enters your mouth.
Well, no, it's an old timey roller coaster, so you got to like buckle up and then put the ball gag.
Oh,
and then there's like
some teenager comes around to make sure that your ball gag is secure, gives a good little yank.
A little 16-year-old Ukrainian child who's here on some sort of a exchange program comes by and tugs on your ball gag. And you're like, last summer, when I was in Europe, I had to pay for this sort of thing. But here's a little peek behind the curtain here, folks. We got into a conversation about this last night, and I had some real ideas, and so we actually have a little bit of the homework already done going into this. The way that we determine what kind of lady you are in the streets, and then what kind of freak you are in the sheets, is determined on a 3-dimensional axis. Mm-hmm. Much like your political compass memes, where you have 4 quadrants. This is a 3-dimensional model with an X, Y, and Z axis, and 8 octants in 2 separate graphs, one for the streets and one for the sheets. So imagine, if you will, a cube.
Yes. This is the point in the podcast where you should probably be getting out your graph paper and multiple colors of pen.
I don't think there is any way to do this in Excel. You're gonna have to use your doodling power, or if you're one of those people who can picture a cube rotating in their mind, just do that.
If you're a tactile learner, maybe get out the clay. This might be a sculpting opportunity for you.
If you have anything cubed shape, hold it up and think about it. So going from left to right on this first cube, this is the sex cube. So if you just trace your finger along the front surface of the cube from left to right, that line is your horny levels. All the way on the left, cold fish. And on the right,
Casanova.
Okay, I'm putting this. I got to write this down. Casanova. This is the sort of thing that a good old fashioned love tester can give you a pretty accurate reading on. So if you're at one end, you'd be on the right, all the way on the right. You got your Pepe Le Pew. Your
too much.
Just cannot seem to get enough. There's maybe like a guy who falls into a cage with a lady gorilla in a comedy movie. The gorilla, all the way on the right. Inversely, the cat with the paint stripe and the bad guy who falls into the gorilla cage, they're all the way on the left. Cold fish.
Yep.
No sir.
Right in the middle, you got Baby Bear, who is just the right amount of wanting to fuck.
It's
just right.
Baby Bear from the Goldilocks story just wants to fuck at appropriate times. Just 2-3 nights a week. Now on the y-axis, imagine this is going up and down on the front of the cube. This line represents kink levels or adventurousness. We have in parentheses. This is, Baby Bear. He might be just right in the middle on, horniness. Baby Bear just wants to do it a few times every couple of nights. If the kids go to bed and you're not just immediately falling asleep, maybe you and Baby Bear might get into it for a little bit. You'll put down that People magazine. Start sucking Baby Bear's dick.
Or your Bear magazine.
Bear magazine. But maybe you'd be surprised to find out that Baby Bear, he's got whips and chains. You find a big long length of rope under his bed. What's this, Baby Bear? Are you thinking of taking up sailing? Are you in the Scouts? No, Baby Bear is into the erotic Japanese art of shibari. But if that's not your thing, that's okay too. Baby Bear, he is good and willing to give anything a try. You want to put stuff in Baby Bear's butt? He's cool with that, but only like 3 nights a week. That's the difference between your horny levels and your kink levels. Now it should be noted that everyone exists somewhere in the spectrum. There's not a hard fixed point that defines a person at all times.
The Baby Bear is entirely theoretical. No one is the Baby Bear.
Maybe that's it. Maybe you're a Baby Bear. If you're right in the very center on all 3 axes, that's Baby Bear. And then this is the Z axis. This is a depth. So imagine you can push your finger all the way through the cube to the other side. That line is your bond level. I know what you're thinking. Is this like 007 James Bond? Are you going to tie me up to a table and have a laser slowly inching towards my private area? And the answer is no. This is a how emotionally attached do you feel or do you need to feel with a physical lover? So again, Baby Bear, he's like maybe he's in like a semi-monogamous but open relationship. He understands that people have needs. Baby Bear's partner is more of a Casanova, wants it all the time. Baby Bear's like, as long as you come home to me, that's all I care about. That's Baby Bear. So we need to come up with labels for the ends of the kink and the bond axis.
Kink and bond axes. I don't know. I don't want to single out any one specific kink. Like the first thing that popped into my head was Sting with his tantric sex. But there are a lot of
I think that
more
Sting,
adventurous things than that.
Yeah, I think that's more of that's a horny level.
That's a duration
Casanova
thing. Yeah.
I think you have to put Sting at that one end. So he'd be over there to the right of Baby Bear. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Is he just doing like missionary sex for hours and hours?
I would not expect that. I would imagine that there are some fairly intricate positions that he's become a fan of in his extensive sexual journeys.
That would be funny if Sting did another interview and he elaborated on it. Remember that interview that you gave back in the day where you talked about how you were into tantric sex that lasts hours and hours and you just keep going? And he's like, yes, I wanted to add to that I just like to do it sitting on one of those shower chairs in the shower. I just sit there the whole time and the lady has to bounce up and down on me.
Yeah. Well, maybe he should spice it up and do it on one of those elevator chairs that lets old people go upstairs.
Ooh, like in Gremlins?
Yeah.
Man, I wonder. That's got to be. You know what? I'm gonna open up another tab. That's going on my bucket list. Have sex in elevator mobility chair from the Gremlins movie. Doesn't have to be the Gremlins 1. I just mean, you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of other sexual adventures that Gremlins 2 opens up, but...
True. Well, adding it to the list.
Yeah.
Have sex with Lady Gremlin.
You can probably have a subheading on your sexual bucket list of just Gremlins-related ideas.
Okay, so let's keep exploring this. Can we get an example of a archetypal cold fish for that horny axis?
Is there anybody who has been famously asexual that you can think of?
Al Bundy. I like that one because he doesn't want to have sex, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's specifically that he's just like he's not in the mood. But it also doesn't play into any sort of negative stereotypes of wives. Peg was always like, "Al, let's have sex," and then he's like, "No." And then the audience is like, "Woo!"
Yeah.
I don't know. Can you think of anything? Any examples of someone who is I mean, like I said, the cat from the Pepe Le Pew cartoons, but I think that's more about
she
the
might
stink.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, also maybe she just wanted a male cat or a female cat, just not a skunk.
Yeah.
She wasn't into bestiality. She wasn't high on the Z-axis, right?
That's right. No, that's the Y.
The
right?
Y-axis. Okay.
Who knows? Maybe I think that a lot of people tend to inappropriately malign Pepe Le Pew as some sort of a rapist and not a cartoon skunk. And maybe, he was a little pushy, but he was just behaving, in a manner that was parodying the great lovers of the silver screen of the time. But in reality, the cat was passing judgment based on Pepe's hygiene.
And they were also making a joke about the entire nation of France.
Yeah, let's not let accusations of rape get in the way of dunking on France.
Is this turning into a Space Jam diatribe?
Did you hear that they cut a scene?
They cut him out.
They cut a scene where LeBron James was going to explain consent to Pepe Le Pew. And they were like, no, we're not doing it. The children need to learn. How will they learn if LeBron James doesn't explain it to a skunk?
Yeah.
There's also, they cut a scene where LeBron James explained that there's more to the clitoris than just a little bump to Porky Pig. He's like, well, as you can see,
I'm pretty sure Petunia would think
it actually has these wings that go down inside the body around the vagina there. I don't know what LeBron James sounds like. I started doing a kind of Charles Barkley, but then it turned into Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah, he's a lot more normal than that. I don't know how you do an impression of LeBron. I don't know what the what's it called? You're supposed to look for a hook.
I think that almost every NBA player, like if you're doing their impression, it's just kind of like a 8th grade book report voice. There's not a lot of charismatic NBA players. It seems like a lot of them are just like, well, we went out there and we tried our best, and all we could say is that we tried our best.
Yeah,
which is probably the biggest problem with the movie Space Jam was the complete lack of charisma of
Michael
one
Jordan.
half of the stars of that movie. And then them being put next to guys who literally get like crushed by pianos and go, "Wow!" I agree, Porky Pig. That is pretty crazy. What happened? They're like, you can almost see their eyes moving back and forth, like they're presenting a check at the Jerry Lewis Telethon.
Well, in that sense, I think that LeBron is at least slightly more skilled than Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
There is a little more charisma there. He's had that HBO barbershop show, and he was in Trainwreck. That was pretty good.
They should...
Not ready to carry a full feature film, but I mean, hopefully Bugs and the gang can help out there.
Yeah. Okay, wait, let's get back to work here. Okay. Enough about Space Jam. This will be evergreen. People will listen to this episode years from now and be like, yes, the conversation around Space Jam continues.
Yeah. And then they'll watch it again for the 50th time because it will be known as the greatest film of this decade. Or
that's right. They're doing a midnight screening of Space Jam 2. Everybody's dressing up like their favorite characters from Space Jam 2 to go to the midnight showing. We're all bringing our, basketball. That one scene where everyone throws their basketballs at the screen. All right. So we need to work on the Y-axis, the kink. Who's like a famously vanilla character?
Famously vanilla.
Like someone who might have.
I feel like maybe on this one we could mine some Sex in the City characters.
I was gonna say I had Samantha in the pocket for.
Yeah.
But I mean, all of those ladies like to fuck.
That's true. Kristen Davis's character. What's her character's name? I think was the most buttoned up and least adventurous of the women, but there's probably a male character that
what about like a Ned Flanders? I mean, he's got children. It seems like, and I mean, he loves the Bible. He loves but
he might be doing that biblical sex. Like there might be
he's sacrificing a ram or something.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the Bible definitely has some pretty unprogressive ideas about sex. You know, it's 100% monogamous, no butt stuff, no mouth stuff, no gay, no animals. They do not mention dildos or any kind of sex swings in the Bible, so I don't know where God falls on that. I'm trying to think of a better vanilla character.
Also, the fact that Ned Flanders has that huge mustache makes me think that there might be something.
There's that one dumb episode where they show him naked and it blurs out like he has like a 1.5 foot long dick.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's again, we're specifically looking for like willing to try anything.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fine with Ned Flanders. If we think of something better, we can change it, but that's a pretty strong option.
Okay. Ned Flanders. And what are we calling, I guess, vanilla?
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the other?
I'm thinking another sitcom character who we have some glimpses into their sexuality, but not a lot of concrete proof. But I think the Dean from Community would be pretty strong on the far end of the kink spectrum.
I mean, another great Simpsons. Well, no, I guess he's just into that one thing. Is Troy McClure? They always hint at that he did something at an aquarium that ruined his career.
Having sex with fish, dolphins.
Well, no, we have Samantha, but what we need is a label for that end, like somewhere between vanilla and blank.
Maybe like vanilla's a flavor. The only flavor I can think of where you have all the flavors in one is like a suicide on the soda machine, or maybe a Neapolitan.
Yeah, suicide. I don't know if that doesn't translate well. Or like a Superman ice cream where it's got all those different colors and it's got like gum in it. That's a crazy flavor.
I don't know, but it's all one flavor. It makes you think that
when you hear Superman, you don't think about somebody who like gets pegged. I mean, I say that, but I probably 20 seconds of searching on the internet and I can find someone who that is the only thing they are into is the thought of Superman getting pegged.
It's probably getting pegged with a kryptonite strap on.
By Batman.
Yeah.
That's the twist. I mean, who would you think Superman would be doing that kind of stuff with? Wonder Woman? Lois Lane? No.
Superman doesn't have a Catwoman, a kinky love interest.
Yeah,
that's all pretty.
That's why they never. Batman always shows up in Metropolis, because if Superman ever went to Gotham City, he'd just immediately end up being like a total simp for Catwoman, just following her around. Man. I guess, what if we just called it Slut?
Okay.
All right. So we have, on the y-axis, our kink levels fall somewhere between vanilla and slut. The two examples we have are Ned Flanders in the vanilla side and Samantha from Sex and the City on the slut side. And that brings us to the z-axis, the emotional bond. So on the one side of this would be someone who just has completely casual sex and is never looking for or feeling any sort of emotional connection to someone. And I think that I just stumbled into the name. Well, no, I guess it feels like it could be the name, but it's definitely the character, and that is James Bond. This is the Bond level.
Yeah.
James Bond is definitely all the way at the bottom of Bond level. It's
minus
funny that they call him James
like
Bond.
2 films.
Yeah, there's a couple where he's like, "Oh, I was in love."
Yeah, he gets married in that one, but it's what's the guy who was only James Bond for one movie?
Oh, yeah, I know who you mean.
Well, that guy got married in his movie, and it was a different kind of Bond. And then the Casino Royale, the
lady who gets drowned or something.
Yeah, Ava Green's character. I'm trying to think of her name. There's a pretty strong emotional connection there. When she gets killed, like it carries over into the next movie.
You either get stabbed or choked to death right after sex by James Bond, or live long enough to die as some sort of a dramatic plot point.
Considering Sean Connery's relationship with his own wife, maybe we could just say Sean Connery is at the far left end spectrum.
Well, I think we need to stick to fictional characters.
Well, just Connery Bond, because that guy gave fucks but didn't give fucks to.
He took fucks, let's be honest.
Yeah.
All right, so that's James Bond is the archetypal guy who does not feel any emotion about sex. And what at the other end would be like swim fan.
Yeah, or Glenn Close and What's that movie with the ice pick?
Oh,
Boiling the Bunny.
yeah. There were all those movies that had like very similar names. You know, there was
Basic
like
Instinct.
Basic Instinct. Is that no? That's the one.
Fatal Attraction.
Fatal Attraction. There we go.
I mix those two movies up all the
time. What's that character's name? I mean, that character is not iconic enough for us to. I say Swim Fan. Unless, can you think of someone else who is like more crazy, like a Klinger type? Not Klinger from MASH. Like a Stage 5 Klinger. Like Wayne's girlfriend.
We could also do this in a more sweet way. You know, like, all right, this is from real life. Like, when the crocodile hunter died, his wife has never gone on a date since he died. She's still married to Steve Irwin. You know, that thing where it's like, I'll never even try again. This love is lasting forever, even though I'm the only one keeping it alive.
But do you specifically think that for that to be an example of what we're looking for, she would have to be like, he dicked me down so good, his dick was so good that I'm only in love with him? Like, it has to be about the sex, creating the emotional bond. Mm-hmm. So it's like an instantaneous thing, or it's a thing where like you're like, oh, I can't have sex until I feel it. Like on that show, on that Netflix dating show where they didn't get to see the person until the wedding. And then the one lady was like, I'm just not going to have sex with you. And they were just married, and he never got to get his dick wet. I'm trying to think of another.
I'm trying to sell me on Swim Fan, because I never watched that movie. I can only remember the trailer.
Like this dude has like a one night stand, and then the girl like starts stalking him.
Okay,
like we're meant to be together.
I feel like there's got to be a horror movie answer to this one.
I'm just gonna look it up.
All right, let's take a short break and figure this one out. I'll be right back.
Okay, so I think I have it.
Okay.
And this would be the character who falls in love forever after having sex just one time. I would say that the two best examples I can think of would be either the flute pussy girl from American Pie, right? Or the what's her name? Bella from Twilight.
Yeah. And those are both sort of archetypal characters in the same way that most Disney princesses are.
Yeah, exactly.
Your classics.
If they ever showed fucking in a Disney movie, they would all be that character. I think it goes without saying. They're all that character.
And in thinking about this, all of these axes are beholden to one another. Like, I can think of extreme examples along one axis that would be, like, I was thinking Annie Wilkes from Misery would be one of these, but she would be at the extreme end of the frequency axis, the x-axis, because there's no sex there ever. But she is hopelessly devoted and keeps this man that she loves in her bed at his own physical peril.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to put Bella because I think I proved my point when I had to call her the flute pussy girl. No one knows who that character's name is.
Yeah, I know the actress's name, but not the character.
Yeah. I think, didn't she play that same sort of character on what was that show? How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was Lily, Allison Hannigan.
Yeah. It's super a sign of super healthy minds that they just kept casting that one, like, kind of plain cute redheaded girl as the girl who will fall hopelessly in love with you if you just get the chance to dick her down once.
Yeah. She had a much more interesting arc in Buffy, though, to her credit.
All right. So we have Bella on the other. So we have James Bond and Bella, but we don't have labels for those examples.
Well, Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Yeah, I guess you call it Rolling Stone on one end.
Yeah. And we weren't actually using the character, maybe Swim Fan as the label.
Swim Fan,
not the character example.
So it's Rolling Stone and Swim Fan. And Swim Fan. All right. Now, on the other Now put that cube down and pick up the other cube in your mind's eye. This
The
is
hypercube.
This is no, don't pick up the hypercube.
Sorry.
No, this second cube is the interpersonal cube. You have
This
the
is your streets.
This
We've
is your
done
streets.
sheets.
We did sheets first because obviously sex sells, and we want to put that out there at the very beginning of our podcast to get the people hooked. And then once they're all horny, then we're going to talk about interpersonal relationships. So this is the interpersonal graph. You have the X, the Y, and the Z again. On this one, the X from left to right, that is a propriety level. This is how you feel you should interact. Sort of right away, I'm going to have to say, and I guess that this still counts as a fictional character because it's a stage persona, but Rodney Dangerfield is one end of this. Just always walking into a cotillion and honking some fancy old lady's boobs and asking a guy where he, I like that suit. Can I get your mortician's phone number? Hey. Just the archetypal person who elicits a "well, I never" and replies, "Well, you ought to try it."
Yeah, even when he is playing a character who has a lot of money, he's going to spend it in the
most
least proper way possible
and classless way possible. Yeah. All right, so we do have Rodney Dangerfield right off the bat because that was not his real name, and he pretty much just played that character his entire life. Very similar to Andrew Dice Clay, just made up a name to do comedy as some sort of asshole, and then people liked that asshole so much that they were like, "Let's make movies about this asshole."
It's a time-honored tradition.
You just
Pee Wee
become
Herman
that
belongs
asshole.
in there. Larry
Marilyn
the Cable
Manson.
Guy.
All right, but on the other end, it's just the "well, I never" lady from everything, but what's someone who's like so obsessed with manners to the point of like being insane?
I mean, we did a podcast once about Emily Post, the writer of the Etiquette Handbook.
What about just Queen Elizabeth?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Or Victoria? I feel like Queen Victoria is probably better.
Okay.
That was when manners ran roughshod over the world for that period of history. Everybody's elbows had to be covered up for fear of horniness.
Mm-hmm. You had 5 different spoons, and good Lord, if you use the wrong one for the wrong activity, you're going to be shunned.
Let's just say the Queen, and that makes it more of a fictional archetype and less of an actual person.
Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield meeting the Queen. That's something you picture in your head, and you're like, oh my God, just imagine.
Man.
It's almost, do you think it's funnier, like the concept of Rodney Dangerfield meeting the Queen, or when Trump got to meet the Queen? Because Trump, here's the thing, Rodney Dangerfield knows what he's doing. Yeah. He's there to just take the piss out of these.
Rodney Dangerfield
old
is like fully enjoyable comedy. We can all have a good time, and it's not going to hurt. Donald Trump is more like a Ricky Gervais comedy where it's funny, but I am wincing more than laughing.
I gotta say, I loved every minute of it. Just Trump, like just stumbling around while the Queen loses her mind. Because let's be 100% honest here. They are the exact same type of person. The only reason that the Queen doesn't have a gold toilet is because her tradition started before toilets were a thing, and she has people who would just come and put a little porcelain pot under her ass, and she would make into the pot, and then they would say, "Thank you, Your Highness. Shall I wipe your arse?" Anyway,
yeah, agreed.
All right, so we need propriety level labels for the. I think "well, I never" is a pretty good, right? Unless, can you think of anything? Because "please and thank you" is right in the middle there. That's Baby Bear. Baby Bear is Emily Post. He knows the right things to do, but he also knows, when to just play it by ear.
That's true.
The Queen is like, has too many.
I'm going to put Emily Post a little bit further to the right on that one, and I'm going to give it up for Dear Abby.
Yeah, Dear Abby. Yeah, Dear Abby is definitely the one. I think "well, I never" for the Queen because it expresses that kind of outrage at people who are just not couth enough.
Mm-hmm. Big time scoffers,
Yeah. So this is the
People who are
propriety.
looking for an opportunity to be offended versus people who are looking for an opportunity to offend.
Yeah, or they have an unrealistic expectation of what is right and wrong. I think Hank Hill definitely falls pretty far on the well I never end of the spectrum as well.
Yeah.
Embarrassed to talk about his medical problems. He thinks that everything is sexual.
He's not that far though, because he remains all the shit that Peggy has done and Bobby has done over the years, like his love never wavers. He's just he has devised an own personal hell because of how proper he needs to feel.
To be clear, this is just interpersonal. It has nothing to do with love. And I mean, I don't want to bring it back to criticizing the Royals again, but if you really cared that much about propriety, like, would you let your entire family just be overrun with like murderous vampire pedophiles? She's like, well, you know, he said that he just lost the ability to sweat in the Falkland Islands. And I'll take his word for it that he wasn't on Jeffrey Epstein's island. I do, however, require that he never eats garlic in his life for some reason. Okay, so I think just uncouth is probably the best term for. Is there something further than uncouth?
I mean, we can just. I think it's probably most uncouth, but maybe we, do that incorrectly and just say uncouthest.
Uncouthest. All right.
Yeah, the superlative done incorrectly is most uncouth.
That is yeah. All right, so the y-axis, bottom to top, that is your sociability levels. This is whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. And this one is a classic. There's a ton of characters that fall onto this.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, famous introvert characters. You got the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Mm-hmm.
But even he has all those stupid dishes that live with him.
Yeah. You got Jodie Foster in the film Nell. She made up her own language that she was the only one who knew it.
Was the plot of Nell that she just wanted to get away, though?
I think she might have been raised in that.
I think it might have been more of a raised by wolves situation.
She was a real jerk to all those people, though, once they found her.
Yeah, like a hermit character. I guess hermit
Winnebago
is probably
Man?
the label. What?
Winnebago Man?
Winnebago Man. You're talking about will you do me a kindness, that guy?
Is that what
the Winnebago commercial video where he just keeps yelling?
Yeah, but then he went and lived in the woods for 25 years and they found him and made a documentary about him.
I don't remember that, but I've seen that documentary. I'm a big fan of that old video of him. I still say, could you do me a kindness to people?
Mm-hmm.
But I did not remember that that documentary included finding him in the woods living by himself.
Yeah. That's what the main whole thing is about, is that also, he was more or less doing the Unabomber thing, so we could go Unabomber as well.
This I think could be the one exception where we make it not a fictional person, because he is just like as far as you can get on the spectrum of hermitude. Like, it wasn't just enough for him to just live out in a cabin away from everyone. He was actively trying to force everyone else to do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, everyone needs to stay out of my business. Also, I need to get in everyone else's business and tell them all to tell everyone else to stay out of their business, which is an incredible mindset to have.
Yeah.
That is a singular, one-dimensional character. I'll allow it. The Unabomber.
It's actually similar to the way Rodney Dangerfield operated, where he turned himself into a fictional character.
Is it Una with a
UNA?
Yeah. University. What is it? University. No. It's something. They all stand for something. I think it's airline.
University and airport, I think.
Oh, UN. There isn't an N. Well, that's a relief, because the only thing I could think of I really didn't want to associate with the Unabomber. For everything he is, he didn't seem to be a racist.
Yeah.
And then on the opposite end of the sociability spectrum, we have the kind of life of the party character.
Yeah. And also maybe like the connector character, like you must meet this person. I know everybody. Like I'm trying to think of a famous one. The people like during the trying to blank right now.
During 9/11?
Oh yeah, during 9/11.
The first responders?
Yeah, the first responders.
the hermits were all staying in their houses. The first responders were like, I got to go meet these people in this burning building.
All right.
I must know their story.
Help me out. During the Enlightenment, there would just be houses that would people would have parties and just introduce all of these artists and writers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to think of the.
They're definitely, yeah. I can't think of what, but I know what you mean.
Like in the United States, how all the writers would congregate at the Algonquin.
Mm-hmm. Who is just an out-of-control extrovert? There's going to be a lot of just long pauses edited out of this one.
That's true.
Hang on.
I mean, with out-of-control extroverts, you have your monomaniacal ones. Like, it's all about me, and I'm only ever talking about me. But then you also have people who are like, I'm in love with the entire world, and with, like I can be in love with 1,000 different people, and I just want them all to know each other, and for me to be a part of that giant web.
Yeah, I feel like this is definitely. Oof, we're getting closer here. Like I can almost picture it's almost like a Pee Wee Herman-esque kind of character. Just like gets up in the morning and is like, "Hello, everyone. Good morning." Like goes outside. "Good morning, Mr. Postman. Hello, little bird." Like, is it Truman from the Truman Show?
I just thought about him, and I'd never made the connection between Pee Wee Herman and Truman before, but that's definitely there. But that's not by choice. That's a classic nature versus nurture right there.
Or this could also be like a character that's kind of portrayed as being like on the spectrum, who just like always gets in everyone's business, and like that's another possibility, right?
Richard Dreyfuss and Mr. Holland's Opus.
Yeah.
His life's work is his interactions with people and all of the different courses he pushed them on.
Yeah. And what this guy is called? What's the label for this end? We have the hermit and the socialite.
Yes, something like. Oh God!
I'm asking word hippo. What is the opposite of hermit? It says party animal, extrovert, socialite, mixer, mingler, gregarious person, outgoing person, social butterfly. I remember my friend Nate Black in his high school yearbook. There was just one picture of him that it was him smiling, and it said, "Nate Black is ever the social bug." And I don't know why that made me laugh so hard, but it's made me laugh anytime I think about Nate Black to this very day. Nate Black, our social bug. Can we please call it social bug?
Sure.
In honor of Nate Black. All right. And this brings us to our final axis on the interpersonal cube, the Z-axis. This is dynamics, specifically leader and follower. And I think that we could just put leader and follower as the two. I mean, unless I think leader and follower completely sum up what these two ends of the spectrum are.
That is pretty accurate.
Yeah. I mean, this one is probably one of the more straightforward ones. Some of these could be a little more difficult, a little more esoteric to wrap your brain around. So who's the great leader? You have like a George Washington types, you know.
Yeah, there are a lot of good guys and bad guys in this category.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
as much as it's terrible to ever invoke him as an example, I mean, Hitler. I'm not calling anybody Hitler in particular. This is a hypothetical Hitler. I don't like to do
Hitler.
it. You don't like to hear it. There it is.
We got Erwin Schrödinger to construct a special box to contain this Hitler, so that he never exists in the real world.
Oh, it's one of those white cats with the little black spot under his nose.
We have him in a special Hitler containment field. I don't think that we could go with Hitler because he really only, I mean, yes, he was a powerful leader, but he never got to the point where everybody was listening to him.
Yeah.
There's still a sizable part of the globe did not listen to him.
Well, if we're going by that criteria, aren't we going with Genghis Khan or Alexander the Great then? Maybe Julius Caesar?
Does it really count as an archetypal leader? Does it count if you rule with an iron fist? I mean, I guess so. Do we need to make a 4-dimensional cube where also benevolence is one of them? I think that
maybe just like we make a note on whether we're having natural light shown on the cube or a black light.
Okay. Fair enough. Is there a fictional character who unites everyone? I mean, either I think they would have to be someone not necessarily like in like a Dune sense where it's like the galaxy wide effects. It could just be like in their own community they bring together people who disagree. But I'm trying to think of an example of
George Bailey in It's a Wonderful Life at the end.
Yeah. Does the bad guy have a change of heart in the end of It's a Wonderful Life? I can only think of that SNL sketch where they beat him up. And then it turns out he doesn't even need the wheelchair. He's been faking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I am.
Well, maybe Mr. Smith goes to Washington. Just a Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart archetype. Yeah.
Yeah, that is 100%. It's Mr. Smith. It's either that or I'm trying to think of another like character who's just like a badass boss who just goes around solving people's problems and telling them what to do. Like everyone just follows their lead. They've got it all like Hannibal.
Oprah?
But not the general Hannibal from the A-Team.
Oprah?
Yeah. Fuck. Is there a fictional Oprah?
Not going to be as good as the real deal.
Yeah, Oprah and the Unabomber. Well,
and Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah. Well, no, we made the exception that Rodney Dangerfield is not his birth name. It's a made up character that he just became.
Mm-hmm.
But Oprah, yeah, she is singular in her leadership. Pretenders to the crown like Gwyneth Paltrow will never be as powerful. And then a follower. Just a complete, social dog. Someone who just is constantly chasing, obeying orders. Just an underling. A little... This one should be easy, but we have to really... We're sorting through so many fucking worms to get to that very bottom worm who exemplifies
the toadiest of the toadies.
Yeah. Like, is there a character who's like the sidekick of a bad guy who gets sent to give a message to the good guy and then is like, okay, now I agree with you. Like, just immediately.
Why does he have the voice of Tattoo from Fantasy Island?
just a little disgusting fucking worm, just a subservient little shit.
Just a constant double crosser, but not on purpose, just because he always takes orders.
Just so subservient. Okay, I'm looking on tvtropes.com. They have a page about a trope known as the extreme doormat, which I think could be a perfect. George McFly, that's pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Milton from Office Space. It's gonna be hard to beat that.
Can we do an amalgamation? Can we have a Milton McFly?
Milton McFly. All right, hang on. I'm just checking. That was just movies. Boy, there's nothing worse than having to go through the literature part of tvtropes.com. Actually, the character in Discworld, fuck off.
I am trying to think now about where Bartleby the Scrivener would be on our cubes.
Well, this is the next logical step in this project, is that we're going to have to take these ideas and then we're going to have to get 100 characters and organize them all along each of these axes in order from most subservient to least subservient, or most extroverted to least extroverted. And then we'll have all those characters and we can graph them on the Z-axis.
And then we'll have an interactive presentation to give.
So then we can make a quiz where we ask you questions and then it places you in the 3-dimensional space and tells you what you are in the streets and what you are in the sheets. And you can tell people, and then you can figure out like your compatibility with someone who's... and
then we can get sponsorships and we'll tell you what sheets to buy and what shoes to buy.
That's right. This is someone who is the furthest possible follower instead of leader. Oh, Bill from King of the Hill.
Oh, yep. Okay.
Yep. There it is. There it is. I got it. We were so close. It was another Mike Judge character. Bill Dauterive. Okay, so what we have here now is we have two sets of cubes. One that represents your relation to the streets, and another that represents your relation to the sheets. And we keep these two separate because this is supposed to be a kind of Enneagram of a dichotomy of who you are when you're just kicking it versus when you're knocking boots. So we had to create a two-dimensional representation, which is very difficult to do, but I have divided the octants up in alphanumeric order so that there is an A1, an A2, B1, B2, and so forth for both the streets and the sheets. I started with the sheets again because that's where my mind's at all the time. I'm definitely on the
You're a B1.
I'm a B1 for sure. Wait, a B1 would be
you're horny and kinky.
Top of the horn, top of the kink.
Yeah.
But then a B1 is also feels no emotional bond. So we need.
I do not have that in the graphics that you have sent me.
Oh, I'm sorry. There is a line. There's a diagonal line.
Oh.
Along the z-axis that says bond.
Okay.
So B1 would be the no emotion but all crazy fucking with no emotion.
But B1 is also in an entire quadrant, so you could be in B1.
You could exist within a spectrum.
Mm.
Like I would say that a perfect B1.
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
a perfect B1 would be, well, you know, I'll say Flute Pussy Girl from American Pie, an excellent B2.
Yeah. You're in between a B1
very
and
horny,
a B2.
Very horny, very kinky, but also very in love.
Yeah, very emotionally invested.
Emotionally
in all of that.
invested. What's that character's name? We're going to have to look it up now because this is where it gets more granular. There's going to be characters. You're going to look up what you are and be like, I don't know what that means.
I mean, we've already gone through this with the Rodney Dangerfield. I almost think that Allison Hannigan is not the greatest actress, but is a personality that we have come to love and enjoy. I think that she is the Flute Girl.
You think that she became that?
She sort of embodies most of those qualities, and I mean the big three roles that I remember her for are American Pie girl, who I can't remember the name of, Lily from How I Met Your Mother, and Willow from Buffy, and it's a 3 for 3 in that quadrant.
Where is American Pie? Michelle Flaherty. All right, so that's your B2, and we're gonna go ahead and put that. A B2 is. We'll just say Michelle Flaherty from American Pie. Now, B1 would be someone who gets real down and dirty and doesn't care and just wants to have the most wild experiences all the time and doesn't give a fuck. I'm trying to think of. I immediately, because of the How I Met Your Mother thing, I was thinking of Neil Patrick Harris's character, but I think he's a little too wound up, a little too.
Well, I mean, we've got that option, and not my favorite show or anything, but Quagmire from Family Guy is probably a B1.
Do you think Quagmire would like suck a dick or something though?
Yeah.
You think so?
But I want to pick a better one, you know.
Yeah. I'm going back to TV tropes to see what they have to say. I'm going to find something that.
I love that you're just embracing the fact that you're going to edit this for hours.
Yeah.
We're going to get it right.
Let's see. Ooh.
This I mean, I know we've already used James Bond, but it feels like a lot of versions of James Bond would be a B1. His kink is danger.
Yeah.
But I guess like it's always like a supermodel that he's sleeping with, and not like the weirdo henchman he encounters. Like, I mean, he didn't fuck Oddjob. He didn't fuck Jaws.
Yeah. I was thinking Austin Powers, but I mean, all right. I stumbled across there's one called Kinky Spanking, which I think maybe I can reverse engineer a character that fits this based on characters who have been kinky spanked.
Kinky spanking is a lot better than kink shaming.
Yeah,
you know, or maybe kink shaming can be a turn on in itself. I'm trying. It feels like there's something in science fiction where there's
like Captain Kirk. There's like fucking green bitches and stuff. But I don't like.
But he's also still
doesn't seem like he's very strong on the kink side.
Yeah, I was trying to think of some science fiction character or entity that fucks and like the xenomorph, like it fucks and it kills as it like a Black Widow sort of.
Oh yeah,
situation.
no, I definitely think that like the alien from Species.
Yeah,
definitely falls.
Is that,
but I don't think there's
Kinski?
There's no pleasure there, you know. There's no I don't know.
But yeah, we should keep this to humanity itself and not like humans playing another species.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we kind of do want a Black Widow character archetype, but not the Marvel Black Widow who never gets laid.
Some of these are a bummer. Okay, so we're going for, all right, so this is B1. This is someone who does not care about emotion, who is extremely horny and extremely kinky. And I'm trying to think of a character who is just that, just like a sex-crazed maniac who gets into all kinds of sexual mischief, right?
I'm going to do a strong vote for the Marquis de Sade on this one. The kink is crazy high, lots and lots of sexual partners. He probably cared about some of them somewhat, but he also hurt them a whole lot, and getting to continue his shit was more important to him than any one person. I made that movie Quills about him with Jeffrey Rush played him and Kate Winslet's in it.
Okay, I would say either that or Caligula is another.
Yeah, that's a good call as well.
Do we want to go Caligula or Marquis de Sade?
I'm going Marquis de Sade. Like he feels like he's definitely far up in a corner of one of these cubes, and it's this corner.
Yeah, it's definitely this corner. Then all right, let's go with A. We have A1. That's less horny, more kinky, and feels no emotional bond. This is someone who is very casual about sex, but not very interested in it. But they do it in the most fucked up way possible when they do it. I think this is it's Helena Bonham Carter's character from Fight Club.
Okay, Marla Singer.
Marla Singer. All right. All right, next up is A2. That is high kink, low horny, high bond. So this is someone who is deeply in love and doesn't have much of a libido, but also wants some real fucked up shit. And I feel like there has to be a character who's like a parody of a housewife in some movie or show where they're like, you know, oh, we love each other so much. All right. And then they like shut the door and then it's like whips and chains and, you know, all that. It's fucking, what's Frank Drebin's wife? From like the Priscilla Presley character.
Yeah. I mean,
where she's like this chaste housewife, but then like anytime that it cuts to sex scene, it's like a crazy full body condom. Somehow, as a kid, I thought there was something about sex that I didn't understand from that scene where they're doing sex and they do the scene from Ghost. You remember that?
That's the second one, right? That's the Naked Gun 22 and a half.
And she reaches down inside Frank Drebin's pants and pulls out like a fully formed like glob of clay in the shape of an ashtray or something. And I was like, is that what cum is supposed to look like? I was so confused.
Yeah. Her name's Jane Spencer.
Spencer.
I immediately remembered the first name, but the last name, I'm not sure how many times they say, but I can still hear Leslie Nielsen say, Jane?
All right. Jane Spencer. I'm giving it a second.
Mm-hmm. I keep running into trouble because I'm wanting to pick different species and such. Like I wanted to say Zoidberg a little bit for that one. I'm like, no, you got to keep it human because the way Zoidberg had sex was not especially kinky for his species. It was very natural.
Yeah. All right. Well, for now, let's just say Jane.
That's a good call.
Jane Spencer
Mhm.
from The
With a
Naked Gun.
C, not an S. Well, I mean an S at the beginning, but a C later on.
All right. I feel like also, what's her name from the National Lampoon's Vacation movies is another one who's like, that's like a meek housewife who.
Were you talking about the
crazy
Beverly D'Angelo?
Beverly D'Angelo, yes, thank you. All right, so next up, let's go with C1. That is someone who is low horny, low kinky, high bond.
Low bond, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry. This is just someone who is asexual, I guess.
Yeah.
Jughead.
Mm-hmm. But we can't do the Riverdale Jughead. We have to do like the classic comics Jughead.
Yeah. What's another character who's like that? Who just doesn't have any interest in any romance or sex.
And if he did, he'd be trying to get it over with as quick as
who also would just be like this
might be the young Sheldon corner.
Sheldon. I'm a young Sheldon in the sheets. All right. C2, of course, would be the not horny, not kinky, but very high emotional bond. And this is like, I mean, clearly this is like the sitcom archetype. This is the person who sleeps in two separate beds.
Mm-hmm.
It's June Cleaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it forgettable sitcom. Like I am just here to deliver the most relatable jokes of all. I do not have a persona almost.
Yeah. Is there something more?
Because I mean, like Cleaver? There's like low sex. Well, there's a high bond. Like I'm just comparing June Cleaver to Lucy from I Love Lucy, and I would imagine Lucy is high on kink, probably.
There's probably something
and
there.
High on bond.
Yeah,
but probably low on the horny scale.
Yeah. Man, is there something more
of the moment than June Cleaver?
Well, no, I'm thinking more archetypal, less like, because these are characters who have children. Is it like Alice Cramden from The Honeymooners? They're a childless couple, and it seems like she has a high bond. She doesn't seem to like particularly find her husband in any way interesting or sexually attractive, but she's so committed to him, you know?
It seems like it's like black magic keeping them together. I mean, we could do the 90s ones like King of Queens.
Yeah, the King of Queens. I was just about to say. Leah Remini's character in King of Queens. Like, they're not staying together for the children, and she seems to have like a pretty sincere disdain for him as a human being, but loves him so much.
I don't know. I don't understand that. Yeah.
But I do think that it's implied that they make love on King of Queens. So yes. I think maybe it's better to go older or perhaps like a children's show of some sort.
This isn't where we put our Al Bundy, is it?
No, because he hates his wife. I don't think that there's like a high emotional bond there. I also think that Al Bundy would fuck another woman. Not for horny. It wouldn't be a horny thing, though. I think it would probably be he would fuck another woman because of the other cube, the interpersonal cube.
Yeah.
There's something about like status that he needs. Like he's living in this fantasy world from high school.
And I have to keep reminding myself, like, we are going strong into this quadrant. Like, we can't let another quadrant on another cube bring it out of that. Like, it has to be central to this character.
We also can't let our headcanon get involved here. Like, when we started talking about, like, Lucy, that's a tricky one, you know. We all watched the Beverly Hillbillies and thought, you know, I bet that Ellie Mae gives primo dome, but that's not part of the actual character.
Yeah.
So this is we're on D1. That's low bond, low horny, or high. Wait, I put June Cleaver, but
that's sorry. Doing C2. D1 or C1?
Sorry, I think we were on C2. High bond, low horny, low kink.
Okay.
This is one half of a childless couple.
I think it's fine if we go with June Cleaver. At that point in television history, the stork was bringing children and just dropping them on your doorstep. They didn't fuck.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many good examples of this, like the mom from Pleasantville.
Yeah.
Joan Allen. Okay,
that's a movie with some really great performances and just a pretty stupid concept.
Very, very stupid concept. And maybe one of the earliest examples of Jeff Daniels just becoming like a self-congratulatory maudlin dickhead.
Yeah. I used to love Jeff Daniels, and do not anymore.
All right. I'm cracking open the Haribo Bears.
All right.
D1, this is high horny, low kink, low emotional bond. And this, this one I have already picked out. It's Sam Malone.
Okay.
High horny, no bond, no kink. Sam Malone from Cheers. Just fucking women, just like it's a routine. Like he just has to do it.
Yeah. I mean, he did have a years-long hang up about Diane, but I mean, as soon as Kirstie Alley got in there, it was out the window.
I mean, is there
seasons
another
2 and 3 are kind of he's not that character, but 1 in every.
Yeah.
He's pretty close to the corner. He's pretty close up there.
I mean, yeah, this is I'm trying to think if there's anyone else who fits that, who never got themselves tangled up in some Joey from Friends.
Yeah, that works too. I was thinking like we brought up Barney from How I Met Your Mother, but he also pulled the Sam and had one relationship that mattered in the whole run of that series. So
yeah, boy, writers trying to give their fucking stupid characters depth, ruining our perfect system of figuring out who people are. And then D2 would be high horny, high bond, zero kink. And I'm trying to think of, I mean, this is also a sitcom trope, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Like the couple
this is just like every sitcom dad, probably. This might be Tim Taylor from Home Improvement. It could also maybe be Homer Simpson.
This is Peg Bundy.
She is high horny. She does stay with Al. The zero kink, Al does seem to think that it's boring to have sex with her.
Yeah.
She also has a crazy, huge, like, beehive hairdo and dresses somewhat provocatively that would make you think there was some kink there. But
I'm trying to think of anybody else whose character was just asking for sex and not getting it. What about Spike Jones or Spike Lee's character from She's Gotta Have It? Please, baby, please, baby, 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 please.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, this is a simp. They don't have to be getting sex for this to fit the. This is 100%. This is just the simp quadrant. This is, please, may I have a crumb of pussy, m'lady. This could be the guy who strikes out all the time, but it has to be with a wife or girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I think. Peg Bundy.
I'm happy with that.
Peg Bundy. Yeah, I don't think anybody who constantly reads TV Guide is a real freak in the sack. All right, so those are our octants for the sheets. We have Marla Singer from Fight Club, Jane Spencer from The Naked Gun, the Marquis de Sade, Michelle from American Pie, young Sheldon, June Cleaver, Sam Malone, and Peg Bundy. Everyone's sexual orientation and preference can be defined by one of those 8 characters.
I hate and love it at the same time.
All right, so we're moving on now to the interpersonal cube. We have E1, that is low propriety. They're boorish, uncouth, high sociability. So they're out there, they're mixing it up. They know everybody's name. They know they remember it, what everybody's up to, and they're always curious about what you've been doing. But then they are a complete follower.
The Artful Dodger.
Doesn't the Artful Dodger like lead other orphans to do stuff though?
Well, I mean, Fagin directs him, but I guess he might be a sub.
He like immediately takes Oliver under his wing.
That's true. Okay.
Yeah. So we have someone who
not proper at all, but is sociable. What's the last quadrant or the last axis?
High sociability, low propriety, and subservient. Okay,
maybe this is Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber, Harry from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah,
and it's only partially because the specter of Jeff Daniels has been brought up. I mean, he follows Jim Carrey's entirely harebrained scheme all the way from the East Coast to Colorado for no reason whatsoever. But he makes friends along the way, gets multiple dates.
Yeah, he's definitely
he takes a shit in a toilet that doesn't work and is, very mean and violent on the date that he has with Mary Swanson.
That's a very good example. I was going to say Joe Latrulio in everything Joe Latrulio's ever been in. But yeah, I like Harry. What's Harry's last name?
Dunn, I think. I don't know how to spell it, but some version of Dunn.
Harry Dunn from Dumb and Dumber. Oh, I can't spell dumber. I keep saying Dumbner.
Dumber.
Dumbner. Dumbed and Dumbner. E2. That would be high sociability, low propriety, and high leadership. Rodney Dangerfield being the greatest example of this, I guess.
Specifically, I think we can go specific Rodney Dangerfield character. I think that Back to School is the iteration of Rodney that fits this quadrant the best.
What about someone who's a leader, knows a lot of people? What about Van Wilder? Seems derivative of Rodney
Pretty
Dangerfield.
much the same character. Thornton
That's so
Mellon,
sad.
Van Wilder, just like one of them's 60 and one of them's 24.
It's such a bummer that, like, when Van Wilder came out, people were like, this is just supposed to be a Rodney Dangerfield movie. This is just a ripoff of Rodney Dangerfield. And then Burt Kreischer's like, actually, it's based on my life. Everyone's like, that's sad because everyone knows you're making up these stories. And it's just obvious you watched a bunch of Rodney Dangerfield movies, and then you were like, I'm going to tell people I did this stuff.
I say we go with the Slash. Put them both on there.
What, Rodney Dangerfield? Well, we already have Rodney Dangerfield as the he's
the corner of the cube.
He's the x-axis. He's the most uncouth person.
Okay. Go Van Wilder.
I don't think that he doesn't really exemplify leadership, you know?
Well, I mean, he wins them that swim team meet.
Yeah.
With his triple Lindy.
But that's a personal, I mean, diving isn't a team sport.
They sell it like it is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
You're right.
What about, so low propriety, high sociability. What about Moe from the Three Stooges? He's the one who always takes the lead when they talk to other people. He's always bossing the other Three Stooges around.
Mm-hmm.
But then he's also
very uncouth.
poking them in the eyes and spilling soup everywhere. I think that, yeah, Moe Howard.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Moe Howard. He is an E2. F1 then is high propriety, very snooty, very sociable, and a leader. Someone who takes control, has a very strict idea of how things should be, and also is up in everybody's business.
Is this like Meryl Streep in The Devil Wore Prada?
Yes. Perfect.
I'm trying to think of what her character's name was. Devil Wears Prada. I even fucked up the name of the movie. Miranda Priestley.
Miranda Priestley. Ding, ding, ding. That's the one. I'm a Miranda Priestley in the streets and a young Sheldon in the sheets.
Oh, man, that's the worst combination.
I've known some people who were definitely that one. F2. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Miranda Priestley is an F2. High social dynamic, leadership skills. F1 is low. Someone who is very sociable, very proper, but is a total pushover and follower in every sense of the word. And this is a classic archetype, the worrywart.
Yeah.
Guys, should we be doing this?
The first thing that popped into my head was Charlie's mom from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. But over the years, she got far and far less proper.
Yeah. I think it was just revealed that she was not that proper. This is, It's very... Oh, what about Smithers?
He is very proper. He is very much a follower.
He's very subservient.
Mm-hmm.
He's very proper. He also is very sociable.
That's true.
Yeah.
Put him in there.
Smithers. G1, this is low propriety, low sociability, and low dynamic. So a follower who doesn't know anything that's going on.
Okay. Can I ask for a one-time reprieve on my rule that I can't do other species, or can we put Bebop and Rocksteady in here?
Okay, they're clods. They don't seem to be interested in other people's business, and they do whatever they're told. Yeah, okay.
Cool.
Bebop and Rocksteady. What's interesting is I'd like to know where all of these characters fall on the sexuality.
Yeah.
Bebop and Rocksteady. Which one do you think is the top?
Bebop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious. G2. This is low propriety, low sociability, high leadership dynamic. I think.
It's well, on the low sociability, but high leadership.
It's like a dirty, like a.
Is this Divine from Pink Flamingos?
Oh, it's definitely some drag queen shit for sure. I was gonna say, like, if there was a sloppier Scrooge, maybe there has to be a character like that, right? Like a Scrooge analog, but who's like living in his own filth. Is there a?
Well, maybe the what is it? Grey Gardens, Big Edie, or
Howard Hughes.
Yeah.
Yeah, big. What is her proper name? Edith Ewing Bouvier Beale. I know this is another actual person, but good God. Perfect example. All right, this leaves us H1 and H2. H1 being a snooty person who keeps to themselves and is a follower. What about Alfred from Batman?
Yeah, that's right. I was like immediately thinking Smithers again. I'm like, but Smithers has like, he has that Malibu Stacy newsletter that he writes. Like he knows everybody about town.
He's got a pretty interesting social life. Whereas like, Alfred Pennyworth just lives in Batman's house and is just friends with Batman.
Yeah, and he tells Batman one day that I hope that you fix yourself so that I can finally have a vacation and not worry anymore.
Yeah, I'm holding a glass of Fernet Branca. That's the funniest part, is that in his fantasy of escaping his slavery to Batman, he just wants to have a sip of Fernet.
Yeah.
I'm doing shots of Malort.
I'm drinking my grandmother's potpourri.
I'm enjoying a nice Fabuloso cleaner on ice. All right, this leaves us just H2. This is a leader who is snooty, but keeps to themselves.
I'm going to go Sherlock Holmes on this one, because he has his homeless network, but he's a terrible bore when he's like talking to anybody. But you know that there's all these people that are just like, yeah, Sherlock.
Do you think that Sherlock would fit in high society?
Sometimes that's the part that they change from very like time to time. Sometimes he's a coke addict, and sometimes he's very proper and can fit in. But
listen, I mean, if you're in high society and the only thing you're addicted to is morphine and cocaine, you're doing better than a lot of the royal family.
Maybe somebody with a little bit higher standing on this one.
Yeah. This is like they're behind the scenes, right? Pulling the strings. Maybe Professor Moriarty is more fits the bill. It's going to be somebody.
It's Professor X.
Professor X from the X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, he stays in
Keeps
his little
to himself.
school.
He does seem to have a lot of a sense of propriety. He wants to do things by the book. That's why him and Magneto don't get along. But he's also writing the
fucking book as he goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Professor Xavier. All right. There we have it. We've created our dual cube personality test that will tell you who you are in the streets and in the sheets. And now it's time to take a look and figure out where I fall.
I'm going to lie and say I'm the baby bear.
I'm the baby bear.
Yeah.
I'm a baby bear
right in the center of this dual cube
rotating
monstrosity that we've created, right at the core.
God.
Not really, no.
Yeah.
But I do think we need a multimedia presentation to go along with this monster of a podcast.
We have to make an animated rotating cube so that people can figure out where they are.
And then they can tag themselves, and you can find your friends in the cube.
Let's see. If I'm being honest with myself, I'm almost, I'm like baby bearing between Marquis de Sade and Michelle from American Pie in the sheets.
All right, who was it in D2 The Mighty Ducks on the sheet side?
That's Peg Bundy.
Okay, I'm a Peg Bundy in the sheets, and I am a... who's G2?
G2 is Big Edie.
I think I'm a Big Edie Peg Bundy.
You're a Big Edie in the streets and a Peg Bundy in the sheets.
Yep, there we go.
Oh.
I mean, I tend towards center, not towards corners, but I think that's probably about where we're at.
Oh, boy. G2 is Big Edie. I think I'm a Mo Howard in the streets and a Michelle from American Pie in the sheets.
I knew that the Mo Howard was coming.
just a fucking bully. That's all I am. Oh my God. Well, folks, why don't you, if you're listening to this, why don't you go ahead and figure out who you are on this beautiful twin cubes we've created. And let us know. Let us know what your streets and sheets types are. You can message us at WDHAPY on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, and share it with your friends. Let's get this thing going. We want to become the next. Who invented astrology?
Ringo
Just say
Starr.
a name. We've been recording for 3 hours.
I said Ringo Starr.
Ringo Starr. We want to be the next Ringo Starr. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'm Nathan P. Woodard.
I'm Andrew James Estes.
Good night.